Rodger, a lot of what you shared with us today was not just the notion of groupness or that a group identity and sense of community would form, but that there were things a youth minister could do to facilitate the movement towards this group. And that there were some things to think about as hallmarks or characteristics or limits on how we go about group building activities. You want to share with us some of those hallmarks and maybe what you think is most important for a youth minister to keep in mind?
Thank you, golly. What occurs to me is that the word fun is bantered about a lot in terms of young people and their own lives. Oh, in fact, the world's largest employer of teenagers is McDonald's Corporation. And McDonald's Corporation has a 3-word slogan that they use to attract young people to work for them. And I think they encapsulate adolescence perfectly. McDonald's Corporation says, work for us and you'll experience 3 things: friends, food, and fun. Well, that's adolescence. And I'm all about fun, and I get it, and fun's important. What I get worried about in youth ministry activities is that fun, or the fun factor, throws us off and becomes the central focus, and we neglect the understanding that everything we're doing is supposed to honor the presence of the Holy Spirit in our midst. So an illustration of this for me personally comes in my time. I was at a youth conference where I was a keynote speaker in Virginia at a great conference center for a great group of young people. And on Saturday afternoon, we had this marvelous activity called the Banana Biggie. And the reason it was the Banana Biggie was that you use this banana as a baton. All of these groups of young people were divided up, and we had different stations all around this huge campus. It was a gorgeous day in the spring. We were around a lake, and there were all these activities, and each team had to do something. It was a pseudo competition, but that wasn't taken really seriously. But they had to pass the banana from activity to activity. Well, you can imagine after 14 activities, the bananas ended up in really, really bad shape. And what ended up happening at the end was the team leader had to eat the banana in order for their team to be done. Well, you can imagine people were spitting up banana pieces all over the place, and there was a lot of laughter, and to be honest, it was fun. Well, standing next to me was this young man, an exchange student I learned later from Costa Rica. And he was so enthralled by this, he ended up saying to me, I love this. You people, you Americans, are playing with the food that is the staple of my people. And what I remember thinking at that point when he said this was this conviction in my gut that, oh, golly, so we're showing you that we are so wealthy and we are so cavalier, and we focus so much on what's fun that we can actually waste food that you and your nation picks and transports to us. That's the wrong message that I want to send, not just to this young man, but to our young people, indeed to the whole world. The reminder for me is the Holy Spirit is present in everything that we do. For me to believe that and act on it, it means that every single activity that I put forth for our young people and adults has got to pass the test of, does this honor the Holy Spirit? Does this honor the whole of creation? Does this honor the creativity that God has given to us and the call and the invitation of God to be stewards of this marvelous creation? You know, I'll be honest, I love some of these food activities and games that we waste food and we throw things around. But of late, I've come to the full conviction, by the grace of God, that the only time we can begin to use food in this way, to play with it, to waste it, is the day when all of God's children throughout the whole earth have all the food that they need. It's honoring the fact that the Holy Spirit is present. And is this really honoring God in our activities? So I've backed off from wasting food and from food games. And I realize now that I need to help all of us and myself understand every single day that we are in a time when certain people have a lot and certain people have very little. And that's not the reign of God. The reign of God will come when all of us have what we need. So being careful to honor the presence of the Holy Spirit in all of our activities in these days.